Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Kantech webinar series. Today, we're going to talk about mobile access with ioSmart technology. It's a mix of Kantech Cloud, Tyco Cloud, with the ioSmart readers. We're going to talk specifically on the concept of readers and the door deployments, how to use the portal, and how to program all these credentials will be covered in a different webinar series, which is in a few weeks. So please join that one when that comes. Again, we have plenty of videos on YouTube under the Kantech webinar series uh, portal. So a few months ago or years ago, Tyco JCI launched the Tyco Cloud, where it manages a lot of things. It was primarily a video system, a cloud video platform, fully video. You have cloud storage and you have your cameras, and you can access the video from everywhere. And it offers a true cost-efficient way of watching video, whereas having boxes everywhere was complex, right? So that was the first step, getting the video, and people liked that a lot. So the next step is to add more to it. One of those things is access and mobile credentials. So we've added to this mobile access. It's not access control per se in some cases. It's mobile credentials that can be attached to a access controller or into a non-access controller, which we're going to cover that in a few minutes. The benefit of going with the cloud that it's purely a cloud-based environment built for the cloud, hosted in the cloud by reputable hosting places, and it brings down the cost for the customer because he doesn't have to worry about computers and so on. So with that, we've taken our ioSmart readers, the really cool readers we launched about 2-3 years ago, whatever it was, uh, and we can now use those part of the Tyco Cloud. Now, if you bought your readers 3 years ago, if you're the first guy that bought an ioSmart reader, well, guess what? A simple firmware upgrade by plugging it into an Edge Pass system, and your reader is now Tyco Cloud compatible. How about that? No reader left behind, right? It's all the readers that you can use. You can use the ioSmart smart card readers, or you could also use the ioSmart multi-tech readers. The multi-tech serves a different purpose for one specific reason, but you could also use smart cards if you want. All the readers have Bluetooth. All the readers are weekend. All the readers are RS-45. So there's no need to special order a reader, have 1,000 check boxes and 18 letters or numbers per order. You just order any of the readers that fits the form factor that you want, and you're ready to go. We only have 6 choices of readers we can connect with. So all our readers, as I was saying, have a built-in BLE. From day one, they have built-in BLE, all the way to the new ones, obviously. They are Wiegand or RS-45, but it's field selectable. Depending on how you wire up the reader on the controller, it'll be a Wiegand output or an RS-45 output for the Kantech controller. All right. Um, 1 second. So they are also firmware upgradable, allowing us to have new firmware pushed down. So as we develop new features, we can definitely have new firmwares that are going to be added. We do have a keypad option if we ever wanted to, and now they're mobile credential enabled for us. So we have 2 types of deployments that are possible. I don't know if you guys watched George's presentations on Tyco Cloud. He was talking about panel-based and panel-less ioSmart deployment. Now you're like, well, I gotta buy a special reader. No, it's the same reader. It's the way you deploy it, the way you configure it is a panel-based or panel-less. A panel-based installation is more of a traditional installation where you have your ioSmart readers attached to a controller, and this controller is a Wiegand or RS-45, and then the controller decides everything and unlocks the door. It is a purely standard access control door. So panel based is an access control door that is a fully fledged access control, fully function, and has access to everything. Because it's driven by Enterpass or the standalone version, everything is included in the controller where you get all your reports, all your advanced scheduling, your settings, and you can use that reader for everything. The reader behavior and all decisions are made by the controller. So whatever you use to in Enterpass is what you get in a panel-based environment. All right. Also, a panel-based environment is typically for perimeter doors or high secure doors for vaults and server rooms. You want that instant notification that something broke in, right? High traffic doors, the high turnover of people just keep on swiping the card over and over and over. You go and you want to know where they've been and the alarms and anything, or any kind of specialty doors, like a clean room where you have a double door entry or anti-passback, card counting, or anything like that goes through the specialty doors, and that one is required for a panel-based environment. So in a panel-based environment, the ioSmart reader is wired back to the access controller over Wiegand for KT300 or less better access control system controllers, or if you're going RS-45 over the KT400 or KT1. I strongly recommend RS-45. You get an end-to-end encryption. It's clean. It's proper, right? And then you can use your iPhone or Android to send mobile credentials to your reader. The mobile credentials are issued by the cloud, which we'll cover in details in a different webinar. But the benefit of that is now your phone can be used as a mobile credential. And the reader accepts that over Bluetooth, at which it then sends it down to the controller. The controller still decides everything. For us, a mobile ioSmart panel-based reader is just another reader that has Bluetooth. One of the benefits of the panel-based scenario is that you can also use your proximity cards. You could also use your smart cards, your ioSmart cards. And you could also use MyFair and Desfire CS and other smart cards that are not ours, as long as you use the non-encrypted side, which is the CSN. The benefit of this is you can use the multi-tech reader to be able to use ioProx and the Prox legacy. So you have an easy migration path from one setup to another. In a panel-less environment, it's more of a basic door. So we said ourselves, how can we make a panel-less scenario very cost efficient without having nothing? Well, we can get rid of the door contact or the Rex, but that doesn't do anything. That doesn't make the door install cheaper by much. So we got rid of the controller. Like, Tom, you got rid of the controller? Yes. So now a panel-less reader, the same physical reader you had before, can be deployed without an access controller. The door contact, the strike, and the Rex all get wired behind the ioSmart reader. You still need power for your strike and the reader, obviously, so you gotta pull power for that, but that can be locally managed. And now the reader becomes a beacon, a BLE beacon that the phone can see where it's at and take action. So the way of managing this is that the decision is made by the phone, but the reader is used as a beacon to locate where everything is going on. You get basic door configuration like a door contact and Rex. You get basic reporting, but you also get an unlock schedule that can be used on a door with a first person in, right? So you can see that this door will unlock at 9 a.m., but only if somebody swipes the card after 9 a.m. But it will definitely automatically relock at 5 p.m. What are the benefits of this? So the ioSmart becomes a BLE beacon. So now when you get nearby, the phone knows where it's at. It's kind of an offline style lock. Benefit of this is you don't have to pull cables from the network closet all the way to the control to the reader. You don't have to pull cables for the controller and wire the controller with a battery and all that stuff. You wire up the reader and you wire everything back to the reader itself. The reader itself, based on the LED and buzzer terminals, which is available in the manual, because don't forget, we have no controllers. We don't need an LED and buzzer anymore, right? That's all managed as a beacon now. Um, the door contact, Rex, and Strike are all wired off the ioSmart reader, according to the manual, obviously. So I can configure if I have a door contact Rex, I can make it fail secure or fail safe, and I can put a schedule with the first person in. So all that is stored on the actual phone. So here, as you guys can see, the phone connects to the cloud and grabs the configuration required. And the first time I get close to the appropriate reader, because we know which reader we have to go to, we actually now send it down its programming that it has. Do you have a door contact? Do you have a Rex? Do you have this? Do you have that? Now, all the decisions, all the access control decision, the time and all that is made by the phone. So when I get near a Bluetooth door, if I have access, well, it will become green, and if I have access, I tap it, and it will say yes, I send it or not, depending on some variables, and it will unlock the door or not unlock the door. So during the cloud programming of my credential, my Panelless setup here, I will tell this door has these many people. Here are the people that are allowed. Here are the phones that are allowed getting in between this time and this time for every single phone. So if I'm doing like an 8 to 4, well, it's 401, your card doesn't work anymore. Okay. Typical setup for panelist doors are like closet doors, low secure doors, like conference rooms, for example. You want to secure a conference room so you keep safe and clean and everything. But you know what? Putting a full-fledged door is expensive. How about I just put now a panelless door? I tap my card, the door unlocks for an hour. Low traffic doors, like office doors. Again, most office doors don't have cards. But if I want to secure it, but not more than that, I can use this. And something that George brought up last time was non-traditional doors. George wants to discuss that a bit. Doors that are not really doors, like.
Yeah, so that's one aspect of this panelist environment is basically key managed access. That's why we call them smart keys in this application, is where you still want key management, but you don't need full access control capability. And when we start talking about non-traditional doors, it's just an opening that has some form of electrified lock or latch. So when we start getting into like utilities, where they might have a series of remote facilities that could be anything from a gate to a NEMA enclosure that's protecting some equipment, and you need a lot of remote field personnel to have access to those facilities. You still want scheduled managed access. You still want audit trail without doing physical key management. This is really kind of the key application that allows you to do that in a very cost-effective manner with a couple of benefits, right? Far less door infrastructure because you really don't have a control panel. And two, from a security perspective, there's no local network either. So everything is handled via cloud and mobile, and the intelligence in the ioSmart reader.
Thank you. So, and we're talking about that here. So, how to deploy an ioSmart in a panelless based setup is very simple. You have your reader, you have your power, and that's pretty much it. The reader acts as a beacon. Now, don't forget, the reader doesn't have to be at the front door. It could be anywhere in the door setup you want. It could be in the ceiling. We don't have to put the reader by the door if we ever wanted to. And the phone acts as a key. That's what George was alluding to before. Panelless supports mobile smart keys. Okay. The Panelless does not support any kind of procs or smart cards. It only supports mobile keys only. So no procs or smart cards of any plastic technology obviously allowed for now because there's no memory on these readers that is available for now on these readers. Okay. So now you're like, okay, guys, I'm tired here. I have panel based and I have panelless, I have mobile credentials, mobile keys. What do I have to do? It's a bit confusing, right? It's actually pretty straightforward. We have a panel based ioSmart reader is a mobile credential. It's basically a card on your phone. Simple as that. Okay? It's deployed like a card in Enterpass and even in the cloud. In the cloud, you program a credential and it's an issue on your phone. So you program a person on your cloud, Bob Smith, and Bob Smith will be given a card number starting with facility code 2001. And then the numbers just go up and up and up and up, right? The best part of all that is it's entirely unique. So that number you get is entirely unique across the entire Tyco Cloud platform. Like ioSmart, like ioProx, the numbers don't get duplicated, right? In Enterpass, so you do have to program this in the cloud. In Enterpass, you program everything like a regular card. You program it like a card holder. You expire it in Enterpass. You give them access levels in Enterpass. You put pictures, whatever you want, like a regular card. You could also expire them from the cloud, and if you deactivate the cloud, the phone doesn't work anymore, obviously, for Tyco Cloud. Therefore, in Enterpass, it won't work. In a panelless environment, there is no Enterpass. There is no access control. So we don't give you mobile credentials, we give you mobile smart keys. It's mobile smart keys. A mobile smart key is a unique number, right? But you don't know what this number is, and you don't care either. Nobody cares which number the house key has. It's a house key. It's unique. That's all we care about, right? Because there's nowhere to type this number. There's nowhere to see it. It's Bob Smith used his mobile smart key. All the programming is done via the cloud. So the door settings, the recs, the door contact, fail secure is done in the cloud. And then the phone receives the programming and sends it down to the reader. It sends also the Bluetooth length from long to short to medium, which is configurable in the cloud, and on the first smartphone, it will send the programming. There's also a 4-hour heartbeat on these keys because the cool part of all this is I don't need internet at all. Once I get my keys or my credentials, my phone can work and I tap it. Now, in these 4 hours, what happens if I deactivated you and I've turned off my data and Wi-Fi signal? Well, this credential keeps on working. In Enterpass, it's very simple in the panel based. I go deactivate the card holder in Enterpass, life is good. You'll get an access denied, right? Whereas in a mobile smart key, you can't because there's no access control. So every minimum, every 4 hours, there's a heartbeat that happens. Now the cool part is it checks every time. It goes and checks every time you open the app. But the benefit of that, once it gets them, it doesn't have to check for 4 hours. So imagine you're a service tech in the middle of nowhere, driving 6 hours north or whatever, or you get to your mobile credentials. When you get out of range before, you check to make sure they're refreshed. And then even though you're out in the middle of nowhere, it will allow you to get in based on the last known configuration, which is kept for 4 hours. The cool part here, it's one app. The end user doesn't need to know the difference. The customer looks at the door, does it go, that looks like a mobile credential. No, there's no difference visually on the physical door, and there's no difference in the app. In the app, you have mobile credentials, and then you have mobile smart keys. For the Enterprise Go Pass mobile app, the app is the Enterprise Go Pass mobile app. It's one interface, one module. So whether I tap door 1 or door 2, whether it's panelless, everything is completely transparent for the customer, right? So this way they get their Enterprise Go Pass, they have their X doors, and they get to press the doors that they actually want. Okay. So for example, if I press this door, it's gonna go to mobile credential. If I press that door, it will be a smart key. An administrator on the Tyco Cloud can issue either mobile credentials or smart keys, or both. For example, you don't need smart keys, you don't do conference calls. So you need only mobile credentials. So I'll give you mobile credentials and not give you smart keys because there's a different cost for each one. They're different buckets. You can buy a combined one, but you can also buy them separately. The readers themselves, the panelless readers and the panel-based readers, have serial numbers in the back. Those serial numbers need to be entered in the cloud. So we know that the panel-based reader is a panel-based reader, and there's nothing else to do. You say the name of the door is panel-based or panelless, type in the serial number of the reader, and then say the length of the Bluetooth, short, medium, or long. That's for panel-based. You just type that in, and you're done. So it can appear here as a door name. On the right, under panelless, you have to do all the programming in the cloud. You have to program the door contact and the Rex and the strike, all that from the cloud itself. Okay? So this is where the Tyco Cloud comes in and allows you to program various things to issue and revoke them. The cool part is a credential can be revoked in Enterpass and still active in the cloud, or vice versa. Now, once you revoke them, you can reuse them again afterwards for different people. Here's an example where the Bluetooth can connect to the ioSmart and to the cloud via over the air or Bluetooth or cell, however you want. But the reader itself, the Go Pass to the ioSmart, is over Bluetooth or BLE. So I hope you guys enjoyed the Kantech webinar series on ioSmart in Tyco Cloud, and it was clear for you guys. Join us next week on our next adventure on different topics, and then we're gonna have also how to configure your cloud credentials, your mobile keys, your smart keys in the cloud for you guys to see the whole picture afterwards. So I hope everybody enjoyed it. I hope to see you guys next week. Does anybody have any questions? George, do you see any questions or anyone have any comments?
Yeah, I'm not seeing any questions, but so just to recap, I think for the team looking at the solution today, Just kind of in summary, the power of this is that we've been able to take ioSmart technology, an existing product within the Kantech portfolio, brought mobile credentialing capability to the ioSmart reader so that there's a more competitive advantage for those people that really want a pure mobile credential style approach. Very similar to maybe HID with their mobile solution, or Farpoint or others. So this way, a customer who really wants true mobile does not have to replace their ioSmart readers on their Kantech system. They can basically add mobile to it through true mobile credentialing. That's one benefit. The other benefit really is the entire new offline use case. So for our partners and customers who say, hey, I have a bunch of doors, or I have a specific access control application where it does not fully merit a fully managed controller-based head-end network connected access control system. I really need something better than key management, but I don't want to go full-blown access. The offline use case is really a pure play cloud managed access for key management that really significantly changes the per door cost, plus allows a lot of our partners to get into managed services for customers that really have basic simple access needs, and don't want to get into the fuss, obviously, of things like local keypads and things of that nature. So it really brings a lot of value, and obviously the significance there is that now customers, not only can they do one use case or the other, but you could theoretically have customers with a combined environment where they're able to do both offline managed doors as well as mobile credentialing, and everybody's carrying one app, one phone. They don't know any different, and we get the full remote management of cloud with this technology. So that's really kind of the recap and the opportunity of getting into the offline managed world that predominantly, the Tyco product portfolio has been very, access control based on-premise head-end controller infrastructure. This allows us to go downstream into much newer, broader markets with simple access control capabilities that are far better than singly locally managed devices, all through the power of cloud. So just something to think about as we look at new opportunities and new access control applications that we're unable to do before with a controller approach.
Thank you, George. Very nice. We have one question, and is there a way of unifying the reports from Panelless with Enterpass? At the current moment, the Tyco Cloud portal for mobile credentials and the Enterpass system are completely independent. So the answer to your question is you'd have to run a report in Tyco Cloud for Panelless, and then a report for Panelbased in Enterpass. Now the Panelbased will also be in the Tyco Cloud. It will say access given, but obviously it doesn't necessarily mean the person went in. It just means that the credential was physically accepted by the reader in a panel-based environment. So you do have to put the reader serial number and everything in the cloud, and then you have to pair it. But that's once it's done, you just issue mobile credentials. Okay. Hopefully that answers your question. Yes, Justin. All right. So Joe, you had a question, or just raise your hand? All right. I wish you guys a happy day, and I hope to see you guys on Wednesday. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.